Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to a live Manchester United news show. And this is a live breaking Manchester United news show because today I feel Qatari. The Qatar bid is confirmed. Fabrizio Romano's confirmed it. Qatar themselves have confirmed it. Tier 1 Qatari outlets, those close to people in Qatar, confirming the bid is in, confirming their plans, and Simon Stone saying the expectation is the Glazers will sell, and Simon Stone does not miss as well. And I have to say, it looks like the Glazers are going. It looks like the Qatar will come in and the Glazers will go out. But even if Qatar don't come in, it's looking like the Glazers will go. £4.5 billion bid. The Glazers want £5 billion, but part of that bid is clearing the debt, which is an extra £500 million. So that would raise it to £5 billion anyway, and investing in the stadium, which would raise it technically to £6 billion spent. So that is the major news coming in, and it could be by Glazers. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe down below, share the video. I want to get into the news. I want to actually show you what the news is, and I do want to get into the chat in just a second, so make sure to get involved in the chat. I just saw this quickly because obviously it's not done yet, it's not official yet, but the Glazer ownership. The Glazers invested £0 into Manchester United, yet took out 1.1 billion. Watched Old Trafford become discredit. Watched Carrington become outdated, watched the team free fall from dominance, and ignored Ed Woodward's failures for 10 years. The Glazers should be going. And I'm going to say this now. Manchester United have not been a serious club under Glazer ownership. Manchester United let Ed Woodward do his thing. They took 1.1 billion out of the club that could have been invested. They had a man that was an accountant that knew nothing about football, making decisions and undermining managers. Manchester United, I tell you this now for a fact, new owners, Qatar say their vision is to make United fantastic again, invest in the era, invest in the club. Imagine the amount of money this club generates from being a not serious club. Imagine the level of money this club would generate if it was a serious club. If it was a serious club, and I'm going to write something in my notes. I'm going to write, why is Woodward not gone? Woodward is gone. But imagine 10 years of non-seriousness with Woodward. 10 years of Ed Woodward absolutely fucking about. 10 years they let that happen. Imagine United with Qatar owners, with smart people in there, where they didn't ignore the failures that happened. Would be absolutely dominant. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe down below as well. As Nick mentioned, the women's training. I mean, the club is an absolute mess, Manchester United. The club has been an absolute mess for a while. Just the way it's run, it's been so poorly run. They've let failures go on for 10 years. I was going to mention this now. Woodward, I'm going to write this down because I need to remember this for something else. Woodward barely spoke with managers. And the reason I'm going to write that down is because we had a CEO that didn't even contact the managers for such a long time there as well. But honestly, we've got to talk about the news as well. Alex B says our revenue is being held back, but the clubs aren't self-sustainable anymore anyway. The cost to compete at the top requires mega rich wealth. You're true. Obviously, United, massive club, they generate a lot of money, but because of Newcastle, because of Man City, because of Chelsea, because of the money they're all investing in, it's going to take a lot more to obviously run and own Manchester United. But we're just going to make sure there's no breaking news coming out just yet. The news sort of coming out now is breaking. The Sheikh Hassam bin Hamad Al Thani, please tell me if I've pronounced that wrong, has called his 9-2 foundation that is bidding to buy United. This is because he became a Manchester United fan in 1992 and a class reference to the class of 92. So what's basically been said is those in Qatar bidding for United are United fans, which I think is a nice touch there as well. They're interested in the United fans, because our owners for the last 17 years don't even know the offside rule. Our owners in the last 17 years don't know the offside rule. They said we signed Ronaldo when he was 16, and they're the type of people that they'd probably would celebrate if the other team score, because they probably don't know which side of the pitch United score on. Our owners know nothing about football. yet let alone support United. Imagine having owners in that are passionate about football, are spending all this money to get their foot in the door of a football club. You know, the amount of money Qatar themselves, obviously this is slightly separate, but it is related to Qatar, spent on the World Cup to make that happen. Imagine people that care about football, but not only care about football, but massively care about Manchester United coming into the club. It would be insane. And how they let Old Trafford rot is baffling. What sense is that to let a billion-quid asset deteriorate? Exactly. Old Trafford is an absolute state. Old Trafford is an absolute mess, and it's going to take at least $1 billion to do up Old Trafford. But the mad thing is, and Ronaldo said it, everyone said it, the Glazers literally for 17 years of ownership with Manchester United, the Glazers let the club rot for 17 years. They did not change the stadium. They did not change the technology. They did not change the facilities. The Glazers for 17 years thought, you know what? We're not going to bother spending any money investing in the squad, investing in the stadium, investing in it, investing in that. Because them parasites did not care. They've neglected this club for 17 years. And I tell you what, this could be ending in a couple of days. They've been here 17 years, but they might not be here in 17 days. I mean, that is the real way that you should look at it as well. Imagine Ten Hag with 2-3 million man rivals need to be scared for next season. Honestly, imagine. I was saying this. I spoke about the Barcelona game today on a podcast. I was saying this. Ten Hag, bear in mind, has had so many injuries this season. Effectively, we've had no striker because Ronaldo fucked off. Martial's made a glass, and Valverde is a Burnley player on loan. Effectively, we've had no striker. Rashford's been playing out of position at striker and been playing unbelievable. This season, United have basically not had a striker. This season, we've basically got Eriksen out for the rest of the season, Donny out for the rest of the season. You know, Erik ten Hag went to the new camp where we would have parked the bus, the new camp where we never won, the new camp where Barcelona are top of La Liga and haven't conceded a single open play goal in La Liga at home. United go to the new camps, a double XG of Barcelona, outplayed Barcelona, could have scored 4 or 5 past Barcelona. We go to the new camp, outclassed them. Ten Hag does that without Lisandro Martinez, without Sabitzer, without Eriksen, without Donny van de Beek, without Anthony and without Martial, and even without McTominay. That's 7 players that would be on the squad. 4 of them probably would be in the starting 11. Ten Hag's missing 4 key starting 11 players, goes to the new camp and gets a result. And arguably, if it wasn't for the ref, we could have got a win at the new camp. And that's what Ten Hag's doing with this current team, you know, with non-serious owners, of an incompetent board, you know, that couldn't even get him Gakpo or João Felix, and they've given him Wout Weghorst. Ten Hag's playing Wout Weghorst at centre mid and getting Wout Weghorst to put in a shift. Ten Hag's made Luke Shaw look like a competent centre-back. You know, Marcus Rashford's the best player in the world right now under Erik ten Hag. Imagine Qatari come in, and like Qatar said, they're going to make United massive. They're going to, you know, fuck Man City, fuck Newcastle. Qatar, like, fuck them. We're going to make United massive. And I just want to clarify, my favourite thing about this Qatari bid, and I'm going to just say this now, my favourite thing about this Qatari bid is the fact that they came out and said they inquired about Liverpool. Liverpool were mucking around, and once they heard United for sale as well, they've gone for United. The funniest thing is, Liverpool fans all wanted Qatar. They all thought they were going to get Qatar. Man United, that's what they've gone in. Obviously, we haven't got Qatar yet. Obviously, it's not done. I'm not celebrating. I'm not saying it's done. The Glazers could be greedy and stay and get a partial stake. Unless the reliable journalists are lying to us. Unless these reliable journalists, and I trust Mike Keegan, I trust Simon Stone. Unless these reliable journalists are lying to us, it's probably going to be Qatar, because although the Glazers in their realistic world would want someone to give them $2 billion, they have power of the club, la-di-la-di-la-di-la-di-la. Basically, it's seeming from all the reliable sources that they're going to sell, and the expectation is that they will be going to sell to Qatar. We don't know what the Saudi offer is. We don't know what the US offers is. We will be finding out what those offers are in a minute. But it's looking good, people. It's looking good. And I just say this now. Ten Hag with a big Bosch, Victor Osimhen, Vlahovic type striker. Ten Hag with boom, someone like Frankie de Jong or Bellingham or whoever he wants in the midfield. A modern day goalkeeper that can play out from the back. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, Ten Hag's already decided this summer Maguire's out the door, McTominay's out the door, Dean Henderson's out the door, Teller's out the door to raise funds. We're probably going to get top 4, which will help us bring players in. I mean, Mbappe maybe. Mbappe if we get Qatari. But essentially, Manchester United, Qatar looking really good. We've got loads of news to get into as well. Hundreds of thousands going into a new stadium. Big investment into Erik ten Hag as the plans as well. It just proves how much Qatar want United. Qatar reports coming out, although Qatar's not done yet, Qatar are very, very determined. They're absolutely determined to get United. And Nick Morris says, proves how much Qatar want United when they name the new director and CEO after the takeover to get it running correctly again. They are not messing around. Exactly. And Alex B puts an interesting point here saying, I think there's concerns, but this is the way the sport's going regardless, so might as well embrace it. I bet half the Premier League will be brought up soon. Exactly. This is what I want to say, this is the way the Premier League's moving. People will say, look, there's ethical issues with Qatar. We're selling our soul. The selling our soul stuff is bullshit. Because we've had the Glazers for 17 years. And if the Glazers didn't take our soul after 17 years of taking $1 billion out of the club, Qatar are not going to take our soul. Yes, there's some human rights issues around it. Yes, there's some political issues around it. But at the end of the day, this is the way the Premier League's going. If we want Manchester United to be the best, this is the direction we've got to go with. If you're telling me, would you rather the Qatar, would you rather the Glazers? I'd rather Qatar. Yes, I don't know the details regarding certain human rights issues and all of that, but it's just the way football is moving. It's going to take over. There's going to be rich owners taking over the club, and United have had 17 years of falling behind as well. Is the way I see it as well. But I mean, this is massive news. Jim Ratcliffe won't be able to compete with this. The belief from reliable sources is basically saying Jim Ratcliffe probably won't be able to compete with the sovereign state. I mean, let's actually get into the news. But this is looking really good, and reliable sources. I'm talking really reliable sources, effectively saying that Qatar, basically sources are saying Qatar 99. They're very confident. I love this edit from Century Devils. Today, I feel Qatari. But just to put this into context, the estimated net worth of the Man City family is 150 billion. Then the estimated net worth of the royal family of Qatar is 335 billion. So we'd be twice as rich as Man City. And people will say, oh, but what if Qatar go and cheat like Man City and gets in trouble? Man City had to cheat because there's no way Man City within 1 or 2 years of their takeover was generating so much money that they could go and spend hundreds of millions without breaking financial fair play. Manchester City had to cheat because they weren't generating anywhere near as much money as United. So they lied and said they were so they could spend more without breaking FFP. United under Glazer ownership, when we're not at our best, still generated, 700 million last year? Not our best Glazer ownership. Qatar won't even need to cheat like the Abu Dhabi do with Man City because we generate so much as it is, and we're generating a lot having been shit the last 10 years, having not won the Premier League, having not won European competitions. We'll generate a lot with good owners coming in. But I do want to get into the news. The breaking news is that the bid offer for Qatar is about 5 billion, and this has been said by Qatari. He's obviously a very good journalist regarding Qatar, saying 5 billion bid. The Glazers, they wanted 6 billion, but remember, I think it was The Athletic. Don't quote me on that. Someone said the Glazers want 6 billion, but they would accept 5 billion. If the Glazers turned down 5 billion for United, they're mad. I mean, Chelsea went for 3 billion, didn't it? How much did Chelsea sell for? Let me just Google that. Chelsea reportedly went for $5.4 billion, which is like £4 billion. 5.4 billion in pounds. So the Chelsea went for about 4 billion. Manchester United reportedly want 5 billion, and I think that United will accept that without a doubt as well. The best thing is debt free. This would be debt free, guys, as well if Qatar were to get United. Hated, adored, never ignored. We're being feared once again by rivals. Battlefield. Do you know what my favourite thing is? Is there's certain Liverpool fans on Twitter that actually had Qatar in their Twitter bio or their Twitter name or something, because when Liverpool were rumoured with Qatar and they were going Qatar, Liverpool, la-di-la-di-la. These Liverpool fans, they're all tweeting that Qatar to United's a bad thing. Mate, you wanted Qatar. I saw Qatar was in your Twitter bio, and now all of a sudden you're about human rights when he's about to get United. The double standards. The double standards, I'll say, from some Liverpool fans as well. Van der Sar for CEO. Well, reportedly Richard Arnold will be sacked. Some reportedly Richard Arnold is going to be sacked as well, and saying Ten Hag will get this. Ten Hag will get that. That comment? Is there any guarantee that Ten Hag will retain his job? He knows that it could be Todd Boehly 2.0. Boehly kept Tuchel for a bit, backed him, then sacked Tuchel because he was getting bad results and they fell out. If Qatar have any sense, any brains, and they are United fans, then they will back Ten Hag. every United fan and everyone with brains knows Ten Hag's doing a brilliant job. You know, Bruce was sacked because he was doing a crap job at Newcastle. Tuchel was sacked because the wheels had kind of fallen off and he did fall out with Bohi. Qatar, I don't think, are going to sack Ten Hag when he's just come in. He's doing a fantastic job and everyone loves him. Qatar will look at Ten Hag, and if they support United, and if they're Man United fans like they're claiming they are, then you know, they're not going to sack Ten Hag. You know, they might sack Ten Hag if they back him, they give him a load of money in summer, and he doesn't do anything with it. But I can't see that happening. I think that they will back Ten Hag. The belief coming out from reliable sources is they're going to invest in the Manchester area, they're going to invest in the stadium, they're going to invest in facilities, and they're 100% going to back Ten Hag, and they believe in Ten Hag. The reports coming in is if anyone's going to be sacked, it's going to be Richard Arnold and John Murtough, which, you know, would probably be a good thing when you realistically think about it. I know that I don't think Richard Arnold and John Murtough's been dreadful, but you know, the Frankie de Jong case, that scenario, you know, the best thing that United can do is sack Richard Arnold, John Murtough, go and poach whoever's been working at Brighton and Benfica and all of those clubs and rebuild the structure of the club, maybe poach Van der Sar from Ajax. We were linked to Van der Sar back in around November, December time, remember? So maybe look at thinking, see we get Van der Sar, Paul Mitchell, Michael Edwards, get a good director of football in. I think that's what Qatar will do. They'll invest in the stadium. I think they'll change the structure. I think they've got big plans for United, and I'll get the Qatar statement up because I have just been waffling. I do apologise. I've just been waffling as well. So I'm going to get the Qatar statement out for you as well. But the Qatar owners are not messing around, and they're here to do this correctly. 100%. The belief is 100%, and we're worth more than 4.5 billion. If you look at Chelsea sale and NFL, yeah, reportedly it's 5 billion. We probably could maybe get a bit more, and the worry is that they will try and hold out for 6 billion. But I think if you don't accept, considering the debt is an extra 500 million, I always think add 500,000 to the bid. If this is a 5 billion bid, it's really 5.5 billion with the debt. And then also because the stadium's so outdated, that's another billion. The way I see it is every bid is 1.5 billion under what it is. So I think if they're offering 5 billion, it's technically a 6.5 billion bid because the investment that needs to go in compared to Chelsea and the debt as well. So I think, in my opinion as well. But anyway, I'm waffling. So let me actually get into the news. My waffling is acceptable, apparently. Because I want to get into the Qatar statement, if I can find it as well. So this is a really interesting thing come out from the Financial Times, but obviously this is from Qatar. Qatar officially have said some things themselves. So let's get into this. Sheikh Hassim bin Hamad bin Shaber Al Thani cannot pronounce names, but I think I'm saying it somewhat right. No one's called me out on it yet. But the bid plans to return the club to its former glories, both on and off the pitch, and above all will seek to place the fans at the heart of Manchester United Football Club. So this is what Qatar is saying on the bid. This is the statement coming out from one of the sheikhs of Qatar, who's a Manchester United fan that's put the bid in for United, saying the plan is to return United to its former glories, both on and off the pitch, and above all will seek to place the fans at the heart of United. They continue this up by saying, the continued statement said the bid will be completely, and this is the highlight this, people, smash your like button for this, completely debt-free via Sheikh Hassim's 92 Foundation 92, class of 92, reference to buy United because they're United fans, which will look to invest in the football teams, the training centre, the stadium and the wider infrastructure, the fan experience, communities and the club support. So Qatar have confirmed their bid. The Qatar bid is confirmed. If you just joined, Qatar put their statement out about their bid and about their plan. So all this Qatari news we've had over the last week, and I want to just say, smash the like button for Mike Keegan, because Mike Keegan's been so on this news. Like a week ago, Mike Keegan started talking about Qatar. Every single update comes out from Mike Keegan, then it's corroborated by reliable journalists. It comes out from Mike Keegan, corroborated by reliable journalists. Yesterday, Mike Keegan says bid tonight. Today, Mike Keegan says bid will be confirmed tonight. Mike Keegan said this, Mike Keegan said that, Athletic repeats it, Simon Stone repeats it, Romano repeats it. Mike Keegan has been absolutely spot on with his journalism over the last week and a half. Absolutely fantastic. It's nice to have someone that's not Ornstein or Romano that we're like, oh my God, this is the guy. This guy's got his section, he's got his links to Qatar, he's got links to the takeover, and he's been spot on. And basically, everything we've been told from Mike Keegan over the last week or so about Qatar has just been confirmed today by Qatar, that they put a bid in for United. This is a debt-free bid. They've got plans. They support United. They want to make United at the top. They've got a big vision. They want to change the training ground. And you have people in Qatar coming out and confirming this. So it looks like bye-bye Glazers. Obviously, look, the Qatar bid's gone in. We have to take in mind the fact that what the Glazers are, greedy bastards. The Glazers could sit there and go, you know what, 5 billion? Nah, we're going to wait for 6 billion. Fuck off. The Glazers could do that. We could still have the Glazers. I think it's bye-bye Glazers, but we could still have the Glazers because they are greedy bastards as well. Our front three next season, Rashford, Mbappe, Antony. I tell you what, with our links to PSG, Neymar and Mbappe wouldn't be that hard of a deal to do as well. And 5 billion could be starting bid, probably will go up. Yeah, potentially will go up as well. But also, could Ratcliffe compete with that as well? It has the oil money to go head-to-head with City, but also we generate so much more than City, so we'd have even more money than City as well. Honestly, you've got to just think the debt being cleared is the big thing for me as well. We can forget about Mbappe and Neymar. As much as I want them both, I would rather have players at Man United playing for the club and the badge over greedy merchants. I like Neymar. I like Mbappe. I want people that come to United because they want to be here and their dream is to play United, not because they want a big fat paycheck because we've got takeover owners. I do think Mbappe would like a Premier League move if he can't get Real Madrid, though. And I know Neymar would like a Premier League move. And I think one of them as a big star signing at United would be great. I think the direction we should go in the rebuild isn't quite so Galacticos. It's not kind of worked for United. But I do think if Mbappe or Neymar wants to come to United, it would be a very easy deal to do if we had Qatari owners. It's the same money backing as PSG, just being structured in a way to avoid conflict. Yeah, essentially same owners as PSG. And obviously PSG were nothing before Qatar. PSG are massive now, and they're in a dead league. And they're the only reason that league has any relevance. And, you know, people at PSG aren't happy about this because the fear is at PSG, because the Premier League is like 10 times that the French league, the fear is that they're just going to prioritise United because everyone in Qatar watches the Premier League. The Premier League is the biggest. We got a graph up on a live stream the other day just showing how much money the Premier League brings in. And the feeling is that Qatar's interest will be pretty very much Premier League focused as well. Eric Ten Hag wouldn't want Neymar, very suspect character. I think the injury record as well with Neymar. I think, you know, Ten Hag's getting fed up with Martial. I tell you what, Martial's meant to be back this weekend. Watch him not be back. Ten Hag's getting very much fed up with Martial as well. I can't imagine. I really can't imagine maybe Neymar coming to United, even though reportedly he'd want the move and Qatar would make that happen. I think it's very, very, very much dependent on what Ten Hag wants and injuries and all of that as well. But, you know, the belief is that Qatar, like this summer, could be massive. I don't know if it'll be a Chelsea level summer. I think that's absolutely unreal because they're going to have to spend a lot of money on doing the stadium app and stuff. But this summer at United could be massive. You see what Todd Bowie's been doing. You know, this could be a summer where Man United just go and sign players. You know, not a summer. You know, in the past, it's been a summer where we're linked to a player for 3 months and we finally sign them or we fuck up and miss out on them. This could be a summer where we sign one big player in June, another big player in July, another big player in July, and we go into August having done all our business and 10 off ready for the season. You know, we're going to be hearing about Arnold being sacked. We're going to be hearing about new stadium. We're going to be hearing about this. We're going to be hearing about that. The belief is if United get top 4 and United get Qatar, that's Maguire gone, that's McTominay gone, that's Woodward gone, not Woodward gone, so that's Arnold gone, that's Murta gone, that's maybe Vlahovic in or Osimhen in. You know, PSG and Man United are reportedly, and Chelsea are reportedly those battling out for Osimhen. If we get top 4 and Chelsea don't, we're in the Premier League. Osimhen will probably come to United, potentially, if not Vlahovic. Potentially Harry Kane might go, you know what, fuck Tottenham, fuck that new contract. Because I'll tell you this now, whether you like Harry Kane or not, Harry Kane would be a fantastic signing for United short term. Yes, he's aging. Yes, he's got a bit of an injury record, but he would slot in that 10 team nicely. Frankie de Jong might get over Barcelona and actually go, fuck it, let's go to United. Because to tell you what, Frankie de Jong is obsessed with Barcelona. He needs a life. He should go, you know, we could get Bellingham now. And I'll tell you what, I'm not that bothered about Man United getting Bellingham. I know a lot of people were like, Bellingham, miss Bellingham, that. But because Liverpool fans want Bellingham, it kind of makes me want him. Because Liverpool fans' dream has been Qatar and Bellingham, and I've seen Liverpool fans going, oh, we're going to get Qatar and then we're going to get Bellingham. I'd take Bellingham. You know what? If we get Qatari owners, I'll take Osimhen, I'll take De Jong, I'll take Bellingham, I'll take Diogo Costa, I'll take Kim Min-jae, I'll take Moises Caicedo. I'll take quite a few players, please. I'll tell you that now. That would be very nice as well. Someone said they'd take Neymar and Mbappe in a heartbeat. I mean, I would take Mbappe in a heartbeat, and I would take Neymar, depending on their attitude, though. That's the only thing that worries me. I do think that Ten Hag would snap them into good attitude. I think Martial will be sold in the summer. Could be 2 strikers. Who would you choose to sign in midfield if you could choose? I'd still say Frankie de Jong, and people will hate me for that, but I love him. I absolutely love de Jong. I'd look at Musiala as well. But yeah, honestly, let's all go have a pint at Richard Arnold's house. You know, everyone went to the pub with Richard Arnold. I'll be going to the pub for a second as well. Alex says we need to bring Ralph Ragnick back. His recommendations have been spot on. I tell you what, if we don't bring Ralph Ragnick back, at least bring Paul Mitchell back. Someone in that Ralph Ragnick connection stuff who knows what they're doing as well. I tell you that now. Bellingham, Barella, Vlahovic, Sesko. We ain't getting Bellingham. Either Dortmund already put 200 million asking price on them or taking less. Yeah, I think Bellingham, look, if we could get Bellingham for 60, 70, 80 million, I'd be all for it. But 100%, I would not pay more than 100 million on Jude Bellingham. I don't think he's worth more than 100 billion, and I don't think he's as good as he's being made out. I think it's a World Cup and Bundesliga tax. But I do think he's a class player, and I would like Bellingham. But I think value for money, De Jong is better. Sign Wout on a long-term contract. My God. Tell you what, new owners would need to employ Van der Sar, Paul Mitchell, Michael Edwards, Ralph Rangnick, leave Ten Hag to do his job without interfering. Probably couldn't employ all of them because some of them would be doing the same. Some of them would be doing the same job. But yeah, should we continue up on the news, guys? There's so much news to get into. I'm waffling. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm getting excited. I know nothing's been done. I know it's not official and any of that, but I just kind of have this excitement going on as well. But I wanna actually get into some other news. And that's come out today by Samuel Luckhurst and other sources. Rob Dawson says that Sheikh Yassim's bid for United is below the club's valuation of $6 billion set by the Glazers. So the Glazers, reportedly their bid is still below the valuation, which is something we need to keep an eye on. And that the belief is that his offer is indicative and based on what they think from the data room, spending would not be reckless, but would be substantial on and off the field with heavy investment in the youth. And reportedly, the reason the bid for Qatar is $5 billion. Sorry, the reason the bid from Qatar is $5 billion, not $6 billion, is because Qatar are taking into the account that they've got to pay off the debt and pay a lot of money on resources that the Glazers have not done as well. And Samuel Luckhurst says current bids for Manchester United are only indicative. Once bidders reach the next stage, they will enter the data room where relevant financial info is available, and this is where their bids will be submitted once they understand the value of the assets, debts, etc. So they're saying basically these are the initial bids to see if they're serious, and then there's the next round. So, and this is what Mike Keegan said a week ago. Mike Keegan said a week ago people will bid, then out of those bidders, 2 or 3 of them will be allowed to see even more about United and put further bids in. And and I think Qatar will be one of those. So this is the first bid. They'll find out more about United, and they might put a second higher bid in to make sure that they get United effectively. Is the news coming out? Ostenham's biggest competition was PSV. That shouldn't be a problem now, especially if we get Qatari owners. I mean, look, I'll be honest, we might not get Qatari owners. We might not. But reliable sources very much linking to the fact that Qatar is very likely. Tomorrow's morning's video, what we'll do in tomorrow morning's video is we'll actually discuss specifically the Qatar news in tomorrow morning's video, because there's a lot of info on Qatar this, on Qatar that, lots and lots of stuff coming out about their plans for the United, the stadium. I think I'll do like a 5-10 minute video tomorrow where I specifically, I can't say the word, I keep wanting to say Pacific like the ocean, but specifically talk about Qatar and their plans for United. Why have I picked up an accent? I don't know. Matt says, I can't wait for Old Trafford to be redeveloped and the whole area of Manchester United to be Man United to be transformed. We also need a top training ground. We have one of the worst facilities in the Premier League, and Ronaldo was right on that. It was absolutely true. United's facilities. And Manchester Derby will be the new El Clasico. El History versus El Cheats. That's what it'll be. And all the big names, I would still snap up Moises Caicedo and Douglas Luiz from Villa. 2 absolute grafters in midfield. I mean, bonus Arsenal wanted them both as well. And I want players who Ten Hag wants and those who want to play for the club, not money. 100%. Going back on topic. I'm not, the bid's not official, but Qatar officials are confirming the bid. So official people in Qatar are confirming the bid is there. So it's not the official bid, because obviously there's another round, but it's that Qatar people have made a statement confirming they've bidded, so it's official in that sense, if that makes sense as well. But honestly, sorry, my reading is very off it as well. But Man United versus Man City is El History versus El Cheat, in my opinion, or it could be El Oilio or El Casio. potentially as well. Todd Bowley's a better owner than Saudis. You guys will be in the mud. Todd Bowley, he's very reckless as well. I don't think Mbappe and Rashford would work. We would have to sell Rashi because they play in the same position. I don't see either of them playing. Mbappe can play on the right and striker and left wing. Rashford can play striker and left wing. I think they work. Rashford proper flirts with Mbappe on social. I tell you this now. Rashford and Mbappe proper flirt with each other on social media. Look, you might as well just leave your girls and just go and date each other. They always playing around with their messages like fire, big up. I'm saying you this now. Rashford would help Mbappe come as well. Heavy investment in the youth is 100% a priority of Qatar. And Samuel Lutka said sources familiar with the matter said that in the event of a Qatari takeover, they would prioritise long-term and sustainable investment in all of the club's men's and women's teams with a particular focus on youth development. And it's very good that they've included women team there as well. That there's not just focusing on the first team, they're focusing on the youth, they're focusing on the women's team, they're focusing on loads of people in and around, the United thing as well, which is really, really good. And I think, look, I'll be honest, football is moving in a way where there's money, where you need rich owners with lots of money to be successful in football. And I'll be honest, I want Qatar to come to United. And, my excitement isn't necessarily, I'm very excited right now, even though nothing's done, even though nothing's official, even though I could be sitting here in a month crazily angry because some wankers offered a partial stake and the Glazers stay, and, that could happen. It's looking unlikely that will happen, but I'm very excited in the sense of because it's finally looking like the Glazers are going to go. I felt like the Glazers were never going to go. And my excitement isn't necessarily about Qatar. It's about the fact that the Glazers could actually be gone. These parasites could actually be rid of our club, and those that replace them will be owners like Man City, where they want to invest in United. They want to make United big. They want to make United the best again. Like, that's the real excitement for me as well. Official bids have to be in by 10 tonight. We're going to be live up until 10 tonight, so there could be some big news coming out in the next half an hour as well. Predictions for Villa Arsenal tomorrow. 12:30 kickoff. 1-1. I know Arsenal have dropped points 3 games in a row, so it's very unlikely that they would drop points 4 games in a row. But low key, Unai Emery and Arsenal. You just know Unai Emery tomorrow is going to do something dirty to Arsenal. 12:30 kickoff. I have a feeling as well. It's only the first round of bidding, but I'm sure Qatar will get it done in the end. Yeah, I mean exactly what I'm trying to say. It's probably the best way of saying it as well. Look, the belief is that Qatar will get it done. Let me show you what Simon Stone said. And I think this is important. If I can find what Simon Stone said, I've got earache and a sore throat, and I'm praying I don't get ill. Pray that Alice does not get ill, because there's going to be so much to talk about over the next week, and the last thing I want to do is be ill. But my ear and my throat hurts, and I'm just hoping that's from me talking a lot over the last few days. But here we go. The Glazers family's position has always been about the strategic alternatives investment for a partial stake. Fair to assume this bid would not have been made without strong belief the family are going to sell up. So what Simon Stone essentially saying is, although the belief is that the Glazers always wanted a partial stake, they've been looking for a partial stake for like 3-4 years. If they weren't going to sell up, Qatar wouldn't have made the bid. There's always reports that the Glazers wanted a partial stake. We know the Glazers want power. We know the Glazers still want to be at United and take out dividends. We know they wanted a partial stake, but they've been looking a partial stake for ages. You'd be stupid, you'd be a wanker to give them a partial stake. Excuse the language, you would be. And basically what he's saying is, Qatar made this offer because they believe that the Glazers will sell up the full club. They've got strong belief from the Glazers. What the Glazers been doing lately, they've been in Qatar. How often have we seen the Glazers in Qatar? A lot. So the belief is very much that they will sell up to Qatar, and that's coming out from Simon Stone, and obviously very good source of information. Although they're greedy, although they want power, although there's sometimes conflicting reports that they will stay, they're saying Qatar wouldn't make this effort if they didn't think they could buy it. And top journalists in Qatar are basically saying they believe that Qatar will get the takeover as well. To date, I feel Qatari 100%. But again, if we look at this guy here, Qatari, he's actually in a thingy at the moment. I can't speak Arabic, so I'm not even going to bother joining. But he's saying the bid offered is about 5 billion. He says beside this offer, the promises of great investment are in the club, and he kind of basically, this is a top Qatari outlet, basically tweeting, a Qatari flag in United, and sources in Qatar very, very confident it's going to happen. Sources in Qatar, very, very confident this is going to happen. They're very confident, even though this is the first round of bidding, even though there's still stages to go. Sources in Qatar are like, they'll make it happen. That's what they're saying. And obviously, the sheikh that bids United today confirmed the bid. He said the bid plans to return the club to all of its former glories, both on and off the pitch. Above all, will seek to place the fans at the heart of Manchester United Football Club again. The bid will be completely debt-free via Sheikh Hassim's 92 Foundation, a reference to the class of 92, which will look to invest in the football teams, the training centre, the stadium, and the wider infrastructure, the fan experience, and communities the club supports. The vision of the bid is for Manchester United Football Club to be renowned for footballing excellence and regarded as the greatest football club in the world. More details on the bid will be released when it develops. But again, people in and around, fuck's sake, I lost it. People in and around Qatar basically believe that they will get United, which is the main positive as well. Laurie Whitwell again confirmed the QIB, all of that bid, and they obviously to say complete full takeover, because there was so much news over the last week that it was going to be a partial stake, not a full takeover. There's a few sources saying that Qatar wouldn't do the full takeover, it was going to be partial this, partial that. And we had Mike Keegan saying the whole time it's a full takeover. Don't worry, it's a full takeover, and it's been confirmed again. Obviously, we could tell when it was a $5 billion bid, it would be the full takeover, but they really are all in for Manchester United this here, in for United as well. And any owner will be much better than the Glazers, literally. I mean, the main thing for me is if this gets the Glazers out, that is the main thing as well. And Glazers out. The infrastructure is the biggest positive, as it's not subject to FFP. The squad investment will take care of itself. Exactly. The money we spend on the stadium doing up the infrastructure is not going in FFP as well, which for me is increasingly important. I actually want to talk about the Barcelona game, because we spoke about Qatar a lot, but I think, we did have a good game versus Barcelona yesterday. I do want to talk just general news. If there's any, basically, we're going to be live at 10 o'clock. The deadline for bids is 10 o'clock. So again, as I said, if any major breaking news comes out, we're going to go back to the Takeover news in just a second. But I think, it's time to actually look at, obviously, the Barcelona game. The game's coming up here. We're going to zoom in one here. It's a bit small for my liking. You've got Leicester, we've got Barcelona. This is obviously the cup final. I mean, this is a mad week for you. This is the week where we're getting Qatar Takeover, 2 games against Barcelona in the cup final. This is one of the biggest weeks for United in a long time. And then after that, we've got Liverpool. We have to beat Liverpool, rub salt in the wound. If you look at the Premier League table here, 5 points off top. Yes, Arsenal have a game in hand over us. So technically, we will be 8. Is it 8 points off top? Potentially. But look, 5 points off top isn't a bad position to be in. Could be 8 points off top. But do you know what's annoying is if we had, let's say, we didn't drop those points to Crystal Palace and Leeds, we'd be on 50 points. We'd be on 1 point off first. If we didn't drop those silly 4 points, we'd be 1 point off first, which is absolutely mad. And look, I don't think United will win the league. I don't think we're in a title race. I don't think Arsenal and City will drop many more points. They do have to play each other again, which helps us because that turns the 5-point gap potentially into 2 points for us, in a sense, or potentially into 3 points for us, and they have better goal difference. But if we just keep winning and doing our thing, we could potentially push for a title. You never know. Ten Hag could do something mad. Ten Hag could generally do something mad right at the end of the season. Don't think he is, though. I don't know what your thoughts is, but it's actually mad to think that we're not far off the top as well. But Alice, it's time for a poll. Glazers in or Glazers out? So many around the world are Glazers out. Glazers in are plastic fans now. I mean, is there any point of doing a poll to say Glazers in or Glazers out? I don't think you're a United fan if you're Glazers in. We'll do a poll though. We're going to do a poll. Big up people. We're going to do a poll, but we're going to do a poll with multiple people. So, who do you want? Do you want Qatar? Okay. Do you want Sir Jim? Do you want US investors or Glazers staying? I'm just doing the poll. Glazers staying. I'm sorry if it lags. Because obviously whenever I get my YouTube, if I play my YouTube video while I'm streaming, it just makes it lag. But my question is, do you want Qatar? Do you want Sir Jim? Do you want US investors or Glazers staying? And if anyone clicks Glazers staying, you might as well fucking unsubscribe. You'd be crazy if you want the Glazers to stay. Absolute craziness if you want the Glazers to stay. I mean, I don't know why you would, but maybe there's some delusion. I mean, there was some United fans that were saying, fuck Qatar, fuck the Middle East, we want the Glazers. I mean, look, I know there's issues around the Qatar takeover, but if you seriously would rather have the Glazers than Qatar, I don't think you're a United fan. I don't. I think if you dislike the Middle East that much, it's just racism. It's just, like, how could you, if you're a United fan and you would generally rather have the Glazers than Qatar? I don't get it. I understand why people's preference might be Sir Jim. I get that. But I can't understand why there are a small portion of United fans out there that are so against Qatar they'd rather have the Glazers. I understand why they want Sir Jim, but surely every United fan should be united on the fact that the Glazers are a word that starts with a C and ends with a T, and we don't like them. I'm sorry if we just lagged there, but keep voting as well. It's probably all the Liverpool fans. It's probably all the Liverpool fans in the chat. I do have a few Liverpool fans in the chat, although they're quite quiet. After Liverpool's recent form, the Liverpool fans who go in my live streams have been a lot more quiet than usual. When we're Man United were losing, I used to have Liverpool fans jump in the live stream. Man U is shit, Alex. Man U this, Man U that. Now Liverpool is shit. They're not really jumping in the live stream as much, these Liverpool fans as well. I tell you that as well. But Glazers out. Let's get into some more news though. Obviously, looking at the Premier League here. So, I don't mean to click on Arsenal, but we'll click on Arsenal. Arsenal have Villa. They could drop points. Leicester, they'll beat. Everton, they'll beat. Bournemouth, they'll beat. Fulham, they could drop points. Palace, they'll beat. Leeds, they'll beat. Liverpool, they could drop points. West Ham will give them a game, but they'll beat. Southampton, they'll beat. But Arsenal's end of the season is City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton. That's 4 massive sides. Forest, they'll probably beat, but they could be in a relegation scrap and put pressure on. And Wolves, I fancy Wolves. Wolves could be a tough one. But this is where Arsenal, if we're going into the last 6 games of the season, only 2 points off top, I think we're in a title race. Let's say we win all our games. And when there's 6 games left of the season, when Man City and Arsenal got to play each other, so they'll drop points, and then Arsenal got to play Chelsea and Newcastle and Brighton. If United can go into 32 games of the season within 3 points of the top of the league, then 100% there's a chance. But I don't think we will. I don't see Arsenal dropping that many more points, in all honesty. But if we look at the Premier League, why is that? Premier League, you'll see there's obviously some matches coming up. So we've got Villa, Arsenal tomorrow. I think that could be a draw. I think Brentford will beat Palace. I think Wolves will beat Bournemouth. I think Brighton and Fulham will be very tight and could go either way because they're both playing well. I think Everton will get a result versus Leeds. I think Chelsea will beat Southampton because they're shit. I think City will beat Forest. And I think Liverpool Newcastle will be a draw. But we've got the big game. We've got Leicester. Now, Leicester is a worrying game because we're not going to have Casemiro. Brendan Rodgers basically saying, thank fuck Casemiro is suspended because he's so freaking good as well. And Alex B says, Def hope our rivals continue to drop points this weekend so we get more of a cushion. 100%. I can only really see Liverpool dropping points, but we will see as well. 89% people voting for Qatar, which kind of makes sense as well. Obviously, Saudis arrival in Qatar as well. But again, we've got Leicester. And what I want to say is we're going to go to SofaScore. Go over to Manchester United here. Show more. We've got Leicester in 2 days, day and a half, really. This is the predicted lineup ahead of Leicester. They're thinking Garnacho on the left. They're thinking Rashford on the right, and they're thinking Weghorst up top. I don't think that'll happen. I think it will be Rashford on the left. I think it will be Sancho on the right, and I think it will be Weghorst up top. I think Bruno will be a 10. I think it will be Fred and Sabitzer. I think it will be the same team that starts versus Leeds. But Leicester, will be a difficult game. They've got very good midfield. Yuri Tielemans, good player. James Maddison, good player. Iheanacho's a form player, and he started scoring, so he's playing well. Leicester have got a good team. Other than the goalkeeper, they've got a good team. James Justin is out. Bertrand's out. We've got no Casemiro. Martial, Anthony and McTominay are doubtful. I think maybe one of them will be back on the bench. But that Leicester don't have a bad team. Leicester have massively been underperforming this season, and they do give us a difficult game. So I'm actually a bit worried about this Leicester game. If we had Casemiro, I think we'd win it. But I do worry without Casemiro, Tielemans, Maddison and Drewsbury Hall, all good players, could potentially get hold of the team as well. United hasn't accepted yet, so not excited. Yeah, well, United haven't accepted yet because there needs to be second round of deliberations. But Glazers definitely could accept as well. And Def hope our rivals continue to drop points this weekend. I already read that one out, didn't I? Where am I? I'm behind on the chat. I apologise as well. But up the Reds people in the chat. But I mean, look, it's exciting stuff. Look, we haven't got Qatar yet. The Glazers haven't accepted it yet, but the belief and the reports coming in is that we're very close to buy by Glazers, and being very close to buy by Glazers is just a million reasons to be happy. I mean, there's nothing more I want than these Glazers at our club. There's nothing more I want than those Glazers to go, because they have been ruining this club's soul for so long, so long. But yeah. Anyway, guys, please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new, and share the video. We've got more stuff to come in. The Qatar owner does not want to make any money from Man United. That's coming out from Sky. Qatar aren't interested in using United to make money. They want to use United to make them great again. Really positive news coming out as well about basically Qatar having big plans for United. They're not interested in taking money out the club. The bid being 5 billion is an update on new and Qatar sources confirming this as well. And obviously that Qatar have plans to improve United all-round man, women's team, men's team, women's team, facilities, all of that as well. And I think, you know what, I have to say, it's looking good. It's looking positive. It's looking good as well. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has dropped out. Is that actually true, or is that just a rumour yet? I think that he won't be able to compete. Is there any... Just someone let me know if there's actually any news about Sir Jim Ratcliffe dropping out. I haven't seen any of that yet. But, I mean, he might not have the money to compete as well. Beating Leicester will be tough. I think beating Leicester will be a difficult game as well. And Qatar, the only candidates that can sort their infrastructure, have to be willing to spend billions on top of the purchase. Exactly. You know, you've got to buy United, but you've got to sort out the infrastructure. You've got to clear out the debt. It was basically said, basically the sovereign. So it basically said the oil countries are the only ones that could realistically afford to buy United without borrowing money. That's what it's been said as well. I'm trying to see if there's any news on Sir Jim Ratcliffe as well. There's basically lots of news coming out about Qatar, really positive news coming out about Qatar as well, and that the bid offered is about 5 billion. I'm just trying to see if there's anything on Jim Ratcliffe yet as well. It was said by Mike Keegan, there's cautious optimism inside Old Trafford following tonight's statement. Basically, Mike Keegan saying those inside Old Trafford are quite optimistic that this sale could potentially happen as well. But I want to get the big news story up. So we're going to go back to Twitter. We're going to go back to Twitter. And we're going to get into this story here because I think this is a big one. Breaking, the Sheikh Al Thani doesn't want to make any money out of United. He's not doing it to make money. He's doing it because he's been a lifelong Manchester United supporter. And this is like amazing news. This is look, for me, this is all I want in an owner. This is all I want in the next owner of United, is to be a United fan. I want the Glazers gone, and I just want someone in that's like, I love United. I am a United fan. You know, that is effectively all I want as well. Not reliable sources, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe dropped out. There's no reliable sources saying that Sir Jim's dropped out yet. But I will let you know if that does come out by reliable source. Alice's name is Victor Ossie Mehen, not Ossienhem, because I say Ossienhem, Ossie Mehen. I've got to remember that now. But yeah, if you're a Man United fan, it's time to get excited. If you're not, you should be worried. I think that's what you meant to say. I think so. Look, it's not done yet. Nothing's official. Nothing's done. The Qatar bid has been confirmed by Qatar. That's massive. 5 billion bid is what's being reported. It looks like the Glazers are going to go, and it looks like it's going to be sold to Qatar, but you don't know just yet. There's got to be another round. But the belief in Qatar is that they'll get United. Qatar believe that they're winning the race. Qatar believe they're the strongest bidders. The belief in Qatar, very positive. We've got 8 minutes until the bid deadline stops, so I think I'll probably be live for another 8 minutes. So obviously do get your questions in and stuff. Because we've got 8 minutes. I wonder if anything will come out in the next 8 minutes. I don't think so. I don't think anything massive is going to come out in the next 8 minutes. But we'll have to wait and see. I think, the belief is, we know there's interest from US, we know there's interest from Saudis, but that interest has been very quiet. I think the belief is it will be Qatar versus Sir Jim. I think Qatar will outbid Sir Jim. And then it's up to the Glazers if they're going to sell for 5 billion or hold out for 6 billion. And I think the belief is they'll probably sell for 5 billion, because if you're Qatar, you'll say, look, I've given you 5 billion. But technically, with the debt, the fact that you neglected the stadium for so long, I'm going to have to spend another 2 billion clearing the debt and doing the stadium. See it as us really giving you 7 billion deep down if we include infrastructure. So effectively, that's probably what I would do if it was Qatar. And I don't think anything will happen at this deadline. It's the end of the first round of bidding, which we need to weed out. Those are not serious. Exactly. And Mike Keegan's been saying this. This is the first round of bidding. And then the next round of bidding is when they get a bit more financial information on United. So I think it will be a first round of bidding. And then I think there will be probably three parties maybe go down to the next round of bidding as well. Apple are not in for United, by the way. Elon Musk, I don't think is in for United as well. I think United were using Elon Musk as a PR spin to maybe get a bigger bid out of Qatar and worry them. We'll have to wait and see who these US and Saudi investors are. Apparently, the biggest threat to Qatar is Saudi investment, but again, very little on the Saudi investment bid coming in as well. Is Anthony going to be available on Sunday's match? Ten Hag said maybe. Ten Hag doesn't know yet. He said Anthony, McTominay, and Martial will have to see how they do in training. So maybe they'll be on the bench. I doubt they'll start. We'll have to wait and see as well. Yeah, sorry, I was just reading something. We have to wait and see in case there's other bids. The Qatar bid is official, but we haven't had other bids yet. So we could hear that an American investment company has bid $7 billion, and we could be sold to an American investment company. I mean, the one thing we got to bear in mind, although it looks like it's going to be Qatar, we don't know loads about other owners. We don't know loads about other people bidding. You know, Qatar, it looks like it's going to be. We know about Qatar's plans. Someone else could come in with a bigger bid than Qatar. We don't know who they are. The deadline is in 6 minutes. I think if someone else is going to come in with a bid, it will be announced today. And then we'll go down to the serious round of bidding. But I think there's so much to be positive about, so much to look forward to. And for my opinion, that is the main thing as well. Mbappe to United, potentially with Qatar. Sir Jim, busy with getting more loans to buy the club. The reason I don't want Sir Jim is because I don't like the idea of loans to buy a club and putting us on debt as well. I understand there are some fans with very valid concerns about who the new owners are, but we will not get to choose. The bid ticks the boxes, so let's give it a chance. I think it's a difficult one. For me, I think at the end of the day, it's just about getting the Glazers out. It's the most important thing. For me, the most important thing is the Glazers leave, and whoever owns United next, plan is to not make money out of United, is to make United great again. No more loans, no debt on the club, clear the debt, invest in Manchester. That's my number one goal, because at the end of the day, no one's going to be perfect. But we've just had shit owners for so long, and the way football is moving, you kind of need strong investment, especially the Premier League, because you've got Newcastle, you've got Chelsea, you've got Man City. You know, the mad thing about the Premier League is it's gone from the big four to the big seven. And, you know, it's the amount of money in the Premier League is absolutely insane. And this is why those Spanish teams, all of a sudden, now they're not top dogs in the Premier League are top dogs. They want to start a Super League. They're jealous. The Premier League is absolutely mad as well. But yeah, we have to wait and see if there's other bids coming out. We can't get too excited. We can't get too ahead of ourselves, because, as I've always said, you know, while it's looking good, while everything's looking positive, we don't know who the other bids are. The Qatar bid is official. The statement has been made. We'll have to see what the other bids are as well. But the belief and optimism is that, you know, it's looking good for Qatar. It probably will be Qatar. And the main thing is they're happy. You know, they're happily United fans. It was also said, you know, that it will be debt-free if they buy United. They will invest in the new stadium. They'll invest in the new training ground. They'll invest in all teams and community. And they'll invest heavily in Ten Hag. There's reports and rumours that they will sack Richard Arnold, but I don't know 100% if that's true. But we also know their net worth is double of what Man City's is as well. And so it's a big moment. Jim wouldn't be able to compete with City and Newcastle because he's buying all the loans we'd have to pay back exactly as well. I think Jim's got a lot of money, but does he have the Bohey, Newcastle, City level money as well? US investors could be Apple, Amazon, or the holders of those companies. And if so, they're the perfect scenario. They would have more money than Qatar and could profit from United. Essentially, but it's not the best owner isn't always the one with the most money. You know, there could be an American company that have way more money than Qatar, but then want to use United to make money like the Glazers. You've got to think of it like that way. Whereas Qatar, it's very obvious that the United fans, they want to make us great according to the vision. They could just lie to us and absolutely do us over. You never know. I don't think Apple are in for United, but reportedly Amazon could be in for United, and they do have a lot of money. I think Amazon could potentially be in for United because Amazon Prime taking over football. For me, it's not about getting the owner with the most money, though. I think, money is important. It's actually getting an owner that if they buy United, United's going to be at the heart of their plans. United's going to be at the soul of the plans. That, for me, is the most important thing with new ownership. It's like, is United the priority as well? Obviously money is important to an extent, because could Sir Jim pay for the infrastructure? Probably not, whereas the Sheikhs can. But lots of things will come into it. And the Sheikhs, if he put the profit back into the club, they're not interested in taking money out of the club. And I think that's the most important thing, because 1 billion has been stolen from United. They've stolen 1 billion from our club. So to just get owners in that actually want to invest would be mad as well. Apparently, the assets of Qatar are just absolutely mad as well. And reportedly, the Glazers do want 6 billion, but I think there could be a second bid that could be upped and offered as well. Guys, please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Tomorrow morning, there will be a video on Qatar's plans for United, what would happen. There's obviously news coming out about what they'll do with Arnold, what they'll do with the training ground, what they'll do with the debt. I think tomorrow's video will go into more detail about what could happen to Ten Hag, what could happen to Arnold, what could happen to the debt, who could be buy, what could the plan be. I think I'll talk about that tomorrow. And then there'll probably be a live stream again tomorrow, Saturday night, actually talking about all the news that comes out. And then obviously Sunday, we've got to watch along for United versus Barcelona. So lots and lots of news to come on the channel. So keep making sure you're subscribed as well. It wouldn't have been kept secret if such high-profile companies like Amazon and Apple were involved. Yeah, as soon as Apple were linked to United, it got debunked. There were reports about Amazon that Athletic said they could show interest, but the Athletic never confirmed an interest from Amazon. So I doubt it. And why are so many YouTubers pro Qatar? I wouldn't say I'm pro Qatar. I wouldn't say I was pro Qatar. I'm pro getting the Glazers out. That's me. I want Qatar because it means I get the Glazers out. I'm not, Qatar, I think is the best option. I'm not pro Qatar above everything else. I think as a YouTuber, I'm pro what is the best option for this club. And for me, the best option is Qatar out of the people we know that are interested, because Qatar would not put us in debt. They would clear the debt. They would invest in the club, and they would get the Glazers gone. Sir Jim Ratcliffe couldn't clear the debt. He might not be able to invest in upgrading facilities and invest in the club right away. There could be an owner from, I don't know, Australia that puts in a 6 billion bid for United, has ridiculous money, and wants to make United great again and do everything Qatar plans to do. And I'll be pro that man from Australia. I'm not pro specifically Qatar. I'm just rooting for the people that I believe would do what's best for United in our future in terms of footballing success. And that is effectively pro Glazers out. And the reason I'm not pro Jim Ratcliffe is because he'd have to borrow money to buy the club. He'd put us in debt, and he hasn't been a good owner of Nice, whereas Qatar have been good owners of PSG. That for me, I'm not pro a specific person. I'm pro what I think is best for United. And I think if I was going to pick who I think would be best, I would pick Qatar. But we don't know who the other owners are. We could have someone, and I could be saying I'm rooting for this guy with Qatar tomorrow. It's not. It's all about actually someone doing what I believe is best for United, if that makes sense as well. Alex Core says we don't need their money. We're not Newcastle. I mean, United generate so much money themselves. They don't need the money that maybe Man City needed from owners and PSG. However, football's just moving that way, where actually, as much as Man United don't need loads of money and investment like other clubs, because United are massive, that's the way football is going. You're gonna kind of have to have money to compete as well. What's the percentage in the polls as well? I think 90% of people kind of backing Qatar as well. But yeah, I think big divide in that as well. Keep smashing the likes, people. Of course, subscribe down below if we're new. We need money because we're falling apart. And the thing is, and to be fair, we kind of do need money right now, because we need 2 billion to invest in Old Trafford, because they've neglected Old Trafford, because they've neglected the facilities for so long. Old Trafford is literally like a mess. It's got leaks. I've been to Old Trafford. There was leaks. The stadium ground, the facilities are so outdated. To be fair, we do need money to invest in that. I mean, imagine if we didn't take 1 billion out in dividends and interest and loans and debt, then you could say, oh, that could have gone into Old Trafford and facilities. But unfortunately, our owners don't work like that. Unfortunately, our owners are absolute morons, and the United financially deserve a bit more as well. FFP with Qataris will make it the richest club in the world again, potentially as well. And the soft deadline has gone. Yes, I'm going to wrap up the live stream here. We're going to just check if there's any news coming out, because the soft deadline has gone. But we know Qatar and Sergio have bids. There could be news coming in as well. The soft deadline has gone. There's more bids that can come in. Again, it's only the soft deadline. There's also second bids coming. But as of now, Qatar is the highest bid. There's a 5 billion bid from Qatar. And as of now, that's the highest. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm going to end the live stream here, guys. Again, this isn't Qatar done, but this is Qatar likely. We'll have to wait and see what the Glazers do. Are they going to get greedy? Are they going to hold out? There's going to be another round of deliberations. There's going to be a lot on this, but the next week's going to be crazy. So make sure you subscribe. Big up everyone for watching. There will be a video tomorrow morning and potentially a live stream tomorrow evening on all the latest news. Hope you're all good. Hope you have a good weekend. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.